Welcome everyone to the Board of Ethics meeting for April 7, 2017. Roll call.
Ted Carlson.
Here.
Terry Kelly.
Here.
David Nesbitt.
Here.
Becky Wint.
Here.
Also in attendance is Dee Ennis, Deputy Municipal Attorney, and myself, Amy Solberg, Board Support Staff. You have a quorum.
Any objection to any changes for the agenda today? Hearing none, we can move on to the minutes from the previous meeting. I'll give everyone a chance. I wasn't here. No, I was here, according to the minutes.
Well, then you must have been.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was
Oh,
January.
it says I was here too.
Robert was our last regular scheduled meeting.
Oh, was that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything else was a special meeting.
Special meeting, I
Well, and
guess.
our last meeting was nobody came. So
Nobody
everybody-
came.
Nobody
to that
came?
meeting?
Just me.
I felt so bad for missing that meeting, but
Oh,
Yeah,
that was the
I was in
meeting. That was when
Mexico.
I was in Mexico
I
too,
was
yeah.
stuck in
I was in
Alaska
East
trying
Harris,
to leave.
where's that?
Yeah.
off of Cancun, it's a little island.
In Park.
Oh,
It was great for the kids.
Scary.
Kids loved it.
Cool.
Yeah. Any objection to approval of the minutes from January 20 and the drafting meeting from January 25? Hearing no objection, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Let's see. No gift exception forms, gift disclosure forms, none.
Can I interrupt?
Yes,
1 second?
please.
On our minutes, it says that the boards agree to meet once a month, Friday from 12 to 2.
Where are you?
I'm sorry, I'm on the minutes of,
Oh,
and my concern with that is that Lisa Toussaint doesn't work on Fridays, so we don't have a second attorney. And remember, she was very helpful at writing opinions.
no, we need her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, I might be able to reschedule her. I mean, maybe she takes Mondays off instead of Fridays. She's a 4-day work person. So, but I don't. But anyway, that's just a thought because I thought she was very helpful in getting
What?
opinions.
No, we want her back in here. I didn't realize that conflict. Do we have is there a reason why we're not doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, Terry?
I think Terry's.
Tuesdays and Thursdays are just a little tight for me.
Okay.
But I teach from 1 to 4, so I could do morning meetings.
And what does Wednesday look like?
Wednesday's better. I teach from 11:30 to 12:45.
11:30 to
So
12:45.
it's kind of right in the
No,
middle of
that's
the day.
right
I
in the
could be
middle.
here by like 1:30 if we wanted
Mon-
to do an afternoon meeting.
Mondays?
Same thing, 11:30 to 12:45.
Oh, right in the middle of the day.
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's why we got pushed to Friday, and then my preference is to keep those Tuesday, Thursday mornings open to get ready for
Of
class.
course.
Monday. But if that's the only time that's going to work, I'm happy. to
Well,
do
let me
that.
see with her.
It's also time, I mean, at this
Why
point.
don't you talk to her first
Yeah.
and see if she can switch from Friday to Monday or
Do you know if I can do
something?
that?
I should also point out it
Aren't
may.
we also, isn't this only through May?
I
that
was
we
going
have
to say
this?
this
Oh.
is
It'll
this
change, but by the
way-
time we change it, Terry's schedule's gonna
Okay.
change,
That's
right? I
true.
mean, how many more meetings do we have before?
You know,
one?
it should be a light schedule for the next couple of months. So
Yeah, okay.
let's talk to.
I'll see what I can do.
When will you know your schedule from May on?
I know it right now, and it is
Oh.
Nothing?
nothing.
Oh, cool.
It is nothing. I'm teaching online classes, so totally
Really?
free. And in fact, this is the last month it would matter. Even the first
Okay.
week of May is finals week.
So can we go back to a
Free.
Thursday? Talk to
Okay.
Lisa, but maybe we can move back to a Thursday. Does
And
that work?
Thursday, we have, what was it, an 11:30 to 1:30? That's fine. I have a
Yeah.
standing 10 a.m. on Thursdays, but other than that, I'm flexible, so it's
Okay.
fine.
So maybe Thursday after middle of May.
Because that seemed to work pretty well. The
Yeah.
11:30 to 1:30.
And in the summers, we typically have not met on Mondays or Fridays. Just
Yeah,
Right,
because
just
of
because
people.
people are
on
gone.
camping trips and things
Well,
like
maybe
And
that's
holidays.
good enough Thursday. And the other thing is she could, let's say we had, definitely if we have a complaint, ethics complaint, she should
Right.
come. And then a request for.
Well, I like
advisory,
her.
mean,
I like her here.
Everyone, but.
Oh, yeah,
All the
I
time.
like to
Yeah.
be here all the time, but
All the time.
I think, again, I think it's a non-issue because we've got one more month. of
Okay.
series,
Yeah,
so
let's
it's-
maybe make in the notes to bring it up at next meeting to confirm that the Thursday 11:30 to 1:30 will work.
Work from about May forward, Terry?
May 4th to the end of the
Or after the
month.
first week, after the second week of
Yeah,
May
but
forward?
no, our next month's meeting can be on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Because
Okay.
it's finals
Okay.
week, and I don't have anything on Thursday that week.
So
Okay.
where in the meetings?
That was 7, let's see, that was your
It's the very
very
end
first?
of
Of
the
the-
January 20th.
Yeah, yeah.
meeting that
Number
day.
under 7, new business?
Okay. Well, let's just, why don't we do this? Why don't we just change it? We'll switch it to Thursdays, 11:30 to 1:30 from
From here
from
henceforward.
here on out. And what were we saying? The third week of the month
I-
or second week of the month?
Well, this looks like it is
Where are
the
we at right now?
second.
Right now, we're at
So
the
the
first,
second-
right?
Yeah, this is.
But I don't, I mean, I have no preference.
Let's do the second week of the month.
Second week of the month.
Yeah.
Second of the month.
So let's
That would be,
just schedule that for, and then you'll send out a calendaring notice for us.
Or
Okay.
Lisa will send it out.
Lisa
She'll
will.
be back on Monday.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, good, thanks, Dee. Yeah. Where were we? Disclosure, conflict of interest.
I have one suggestion on the.
Oh, yeah, did that work for you? I'm sorry, I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
hear from you. I assume you're gonna
That's-
just jump in
that's
there.
fine.
but-
I
Okay,
spoke out the thing.
all right.
But on the disclosure forms, so many of them come in filled out wrong.
Mhm.
And the clerk's office, correct me if I'm wrong, review them as they come in. You know, if they could send them back,
I don't think they do review them as they come in.
I
I
don't
think they just
believe
accept
so.
them.
just accept them.
Yeah,
You know,
because they just
it-
don't have that people
it-
power.
It's, you know, there's a lot of them in there that aren't even checked on anything, and a lot of them are checked on both of them. There's one that doesn't have anything on the top filled out, it's got his name signed on the bottom, and you can't even see who it is, you can't even read who it is. You know, so, you know, if we're gonna review them, you know, it's some way that we gotta be able to review them, to send them back or something.
Yeah, they probably, because they can't always be available at the front counter or someone
Mm-hmm.
turns them in, maybe once they're turned in, either Lisa or
Sure.
myself should get them before the board does.
Sure.
And look at them and say, hey,
Yeah.
you need to fill them out. And/or is there anything we can do to make the form easier? I don't know.
Well, there's 3 different forms that are same form. If we could eliminate and have one form,
Mhm.
I don't know, apparently different departments have different forms. If we could come up with one form and have everybody do that same form, it would be a lot easier. It would be a lot easier for us, I believe.
Well, how about if Lisa and I get together the next group and see, and any ones that are incorrect on this group, so we can see what the patterns are?
Mhm.
So flag those for me, Ted, and that way she and I can look at them and see if there's something we can do with the forms themselves.
It would be just quicker for us.
Yeah.
sort of
Oh, yeah.
thing. In some way, we gotta get the word back to these people to do it right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can we circle back to our schedule?
Yeah,
I'm actually out of town May 11th. Could we do first week of the month?
Let's do the
If
first
This
week.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
to people.
it doesn't matter, because
Okay.
if let's change it at the
If you don't
first week.
mind, that would
Yeah.
be-
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It'll be
I'm
the
also
first weekend.
gone.
First weekend, the first Thursday of every month,
Is,
from here on out.
yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
yeah,
unless fall and wait.
Sure.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't have
All right,
problem.
that's
that's
fine.
good to me.
Just so
No,
we-
that's good. Okay, I'm still on the, let's see, conflict of interest.
I've got questions about both of these.
Mm-hmm. Ukulele instruction.
It looks to me a little bit like this person, does the band instructor have some, I mean, that actually seems like the one instance where a teacher may have some role in engaging this contractor for music instruction. Yeah, like he's engaged, it says he's asking his brother to. Because I feel
I
like
mean,
you know, usually
These are, if there's any charge involved, it's the parents are paid for,
the parents are going to call Harrington, and he's not engaged by Travis Harrington to come and provide the
right, the
instruction in the
parents are
school.
paying for the lessons. This is above and beyond school. I mean, that's the way it was when my son was in there, anyway. So, you know, Sue likes music.
Mr. Whiting says Travis has no influence on the ability of his brother's company to obtain the business.
Okay.
Should any occasion arise where he might have such an opportunity, he'll remove himself from the selection process. I think that would be the filtering
Yeah.
Oh,
degree
yeah.
of separation.
No, that makes sense.
And then, Dr. Bishop will disqualify herself from participating in any decision by the district. Now, what,
So he's ACS, right? Husband is ACS.
the SES provides telecommunications systems to ASD. Oh. She's the superintendent.
She's the whole.
Yeah. Yeah, so she like
So she
definitely has
is
a role in
in
making
the-
those decisions. Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention until I read superintendent.
And those are huge contracts. too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of money. Clearly, they just need to go to GCI and
Yeah.
the conflict.
Right.
Family situation.
Yeah, although GCI just got bought out.
That's true.
Yeah. No, they merged.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a long, complicated story, but
Yeah. No, I heard.
But now we know they're gonna need local counsel.
Yes,
even
they
more than
are.
before.
Yes, they will. I think your job is safe. Again, I kind of come back to having to rely on Mr. Whiting.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I guess there's no way, and this seems like an important, I mean, it's clearly a conflict, but if she
Mhm.
recuses herself, then.
how involved? I mean, obviously she's involved in these types of decisions, but can she just step back from some of these? Does she have a deputy or somebody who can step in and make?
Oh,
the
I'm sure she
decision?
does.
Now, that-
And I don't know how much of this goes to the school board versus
Right. That
her,
was yeah.
because they have a different contractual relationship than we do.
Because this doesn't even look good. I mean, this
No.
isn't even close, really. On the other hand, what ACS provides the systems to ASD right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine the disruption if they were to have to change that in some way? And of
Yeah.
course, that contract, I assume, was in place before she became superintendent.
Right. Well, is it worth asking her a few more questions, either myself or,
Can you do it
Or
off the
you-
record, maybe?
yeah,
Just informally give her a call and say, hey.
One thing would help is if her husband excused himself from any portion to do with the contract that has to do with the school district, you know, on the other end, if she's willing to do that. you know.
Yeah, if they both took a step back
Yeah.
from any future contract negotiations.
well, let's find out
I
what
don't
the
know.
school's procurement process is.
Sure.
Yeah, and how critical
don't
her
know.
office is to it, because, I mean, I think about it too, I don't know very much about what ASD does, it just was,
Yeah.
if I use the analogy of, like, she was the mayor,
Right.
and her spouse was the executive vice president of a company
Right.
coming in, like that.
Well, but see, we'd figure out a way to firewall, I think
Yeah.
that, so, because I was thinking just the same thing, Becky. I
Yeah.
think that we would figure out a way of doing it because.
Well, and it was already in existence at the time.
And it's a small town, and you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
expect people's spouses
exactly.
not to have
Right.
jobs.
So
but,
really, I do
yeah,
think the
well,
handoff from her to someone else is clear. And what's her,
Right.
again, what's the procurement process? Does it go through the board or does it go through her?
I also don't know what Bill's role is at ACS, like, he may have absolutely nothing to,
To
he may
do
be
with it.
like the senior
Mhm.
VP of
Yeah.
something completely wildly unrelated to their school district
Right.
contracts.
Because we can't really ask him to step back, right? Because he's.
I feel more uncomfortable with that. But
Yeah, that's
let's
what I
find
mean.
out what's going on first. Yeah,
Okay.
if he's, but should he be the one who pitches the contract either?
Right.
I mean, that's too far, right, Ted? I
Right.
mean, that's.
Maybe
Yeah.
just.
Let's find-
Just
explore it
find
together.
out and
Okay.
maybe bring it up at the next meeting just to
Okay.
make sure everything's okay. Okay. The rest of the disclosures.
If you want to skip over these, I mean, there's so many of them. Some next meetings where he had a chance to go through them. There's so many of them in there that
Are there?
Well, you know what would help me, Ted, if you tell me which ones you think are bad.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
Why is there an orange sheet in the middle here?
So, Lisa said that the
Mhm.
ones behind the orange sheet
have,
Those are checked none or NA.
right, so the ones
Or
that
the neither
have,
box.
are the ones that have a potential conflict?
Yeah, and these are the possible conflicts in the
Oh,
front.
so we can just sample all the ones after or.
She did
at-
want you to
after
review
that.
those
course
just
she
to,
did.
just in case.
What about these ones with the little, in the yellow clippy?
In the yellow clippy, actually Dee pulled these back in 2016 and is going to decide what to do with them.
This was one where I think it was, they were on, well, I don't remember now.
There's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're almost outdated, but let me pull them
Right.
up because it brought up some types of issues, and I can't remember whether it was employees serving on boards or the LURSs, or there was something, so that we needed to look at it. Okay, now I've volunteered for 3 things, you guys.
right, so you're gonna
Yellow
go through these,
Clippy, yeah,
and we'll go through them, and we'll,
this is why I need Lisa to sign.
that's right, we'll have Dee or Lisa update us at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if we only meet once a month, there's a chance we could get it.
Do you have any insight on this next group, Dee?
And this,
Do you notice some attempt to respond to
oh,
public
a
solicitation?
lot of those are, the MOA foreclosures are starting, and so I actually had to sign off on a few of these.
Okay.
Or they didn't get signatures. One of the
I'm
things,
sorry, in this first batch, are we gonna tell you the ones that we finished?
I would prefer, yeah, to go back to
Yeah.
where we were.
Oh, do you want to go back and go
Yeah.
through them?
Because
Oh,
I-
okay.
I thought it
All
would
right.
be-
I mean, I think.
Okay.
I think it'd be helpful to know
All
which,
right.
That's right, I mean.
yeah, because then I can
we're-
pull them and Lisa and I can look at them and say, okay, what?
Yeah, this one here, this first
like,
one.
Like Red Redlinger, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people didn't
Yeah.
check off either box, and they've got to at least be on the
Something.
record for.
That's what you were saying,
something.
wasn't
Even
it?
if it's gonna be nothing, they at least have to be on the record for saying, I don't have.
That's
it."
what you were saying, yeah.
And there's a bunch of them that are like that, where, then Robinson's another one where
Or
they
they-
didn't check off anything.
Or they check both of them.
Third one.
Like, let's just check all the boxes and see what happens, right?
Well, like the first one said on the first page what
Right.
he has an interest in, right? Or
Right,
she
right.
has an interest in.
Any work awarded to these two. And then,
Right, so that
Um,
doesn't make sense either. Okay, because, yeah, I think this form probably has to be changed,
when, I will inform the other members of the body.
so that potential conflict can be addressed.
Yeah.
So anytime
I'm calling you conflict of interest.
These
So
guys are involved, she will,
that's my understanding.
yeah, okay. that's-
But number 2, Mr. Redlinger, didn't check a box.
Oh, this is front and back.
Schmitz checked both of them. I'm not quite sure I understand what that means. Did you see more? I'll just keep.
And then,
Marianne.
let's see, Robinson Tyler.
This is the old form for Marianne Burke. But I assume that,
And that's why, if we could get a
Yeah.
uniform form.
Yeah, you've got a whole bunch.
so there's no answer
Three
here.
different types.
The whole reason we changed the form is so that they had a box to check.
Right.
Here, there's nothing. I assume.
Well, except the paragraph says I have the following
Yeah.
economic interests, and so
Right.
it doesn't
Yep.
have any.
We
You know,
just-
in other words, so
yeah.
if you read the form, I think it ends up at the right place.
Mr. Robinson didn't check a box.
Mr. Robinson. Okay, we need to, I can see that we do need to work on these forms, they will.
Yeah.
Maybe if Lisa and I spent some time on them.
Mm-hmm. And they're probably thinking, God, every year they send out a new form. We can't keep the form straight. It's all their fault.
Well, and again, under the new code, this isn't annual anymore, it's only when they get a new interest.
Right.
When they're first elected or appointed, and then.
This one wasn't even, I don't know what this means. Even the first name, the first chunk isn't even filled out for Mr. William Ennis.
How
Something?
far?
Jeez.
Nothing. We don't even know who it is.
I don't even know
It's
who
a
it
February
is.
15 one. that came in.
February 15th?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Oh, and
I
moreover.
think you're past us.
Aircraft.
Yeah, this is the one right on the other side of Eric Croft. That one. Didn't even fill out the name.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh. He might have been the one that was so
Wasn't
aggravated
the
that
one
one
was
time,
like
yeah.
He aggravated that he had to fill out a form?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
might have been him.
Eric Crofts.
And he states that if anything comes before the assembly reference that, he'll excuse himself.
But you know, and maybe we've made these forms so
Mm-hmm.
short, like even on Eric's, he's trying to disclose
Right.
things, and I can't figure out, is it his wife, I think it's his wife's firm, the architectural firm, but that's not even clear here, because we've made it so
Yeah.
truncated. And I'm still looking at Eric's, I don't even know what the stuff is here, and
Mr. Spore, Haas, Hayes, checked both boxes. So did Mr. Sullivan, or Miss Sullivan.
see, but if they're written, I'm not sure they're that
Yeah.
distinct, I'm not sure,
But I have the following economic interests and they don't list any. Same as here, I have the following economic interests and it's left blank.
okay, so which one are you looking at?
This is March 10, so it's
Okay, March 10th, okay.
Spore, Hayes? Spore, Hayes, and Sullivan. Those are the
Sullivan,
ones.
okay, okay.
Those are the ones. Did you get those?
I'm writing them down.
Yeah. Anybody else need more?
That was, yeah,
Those are
These
just
books.
superficially,
okay,
superficially
okay.
the ones that caught my attention for kind of form.
So let's fix the
Issues.
forms.
Yeah, let's fix the form.
Yeah, the forms are, and then I see a number of people who kind of, I feel like need our standard
Yeah.
letter that's basically like,
Yeah.
when things that you're interested in come before your body, right? Because looking at these, it looks to me like, Suzanne, okay, well, sorry, Melissa Morse, is their middle name. Like, she might have, I can't tell if these folks would come before UDC or not, in theory, or if she's just saying that if they get contracts from the muni. It's a little confusing to me, but like, in theory, anything that she's architecture stuff that's coming before UDC, you might be, don't we have like a standard letter that's like if you.
We
I
have
thought we
another
did.
We
send
do.
that, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then.
Though it may need to be redone, because
Yeah.
the citations to the code
Yeah.
are different.
So let's
But I'll do
pull
that
up
for the
that
next
letter.
meeting. I'll
But then I
cook
see
up a
this
new letter.
Sort of the
Okay.
same thing is true for.
Okay, so you're gonna do that too?
Yeah. Yeah, because I've got the old
I
one.
think
just-
Tyler is, I think that's what he's getting at in his form, even though he didn't write anything down. But he, at planning and zoning, I mean, Cook and the Housing has things
Yeah.
that come before planning and zoning. And then it looks like Melinda Freeman already, she already sent her a letter, so we maybe, I don't know if we sent her a letter saying like, just reaffirming that we still think you need to make sure that you're not signing off on any grants that are given to neighbor work.
Sure.
And then, I mean, same is true with, James Sawhill at Lounsbury, because his projects will come before UDC.
Mhm.
And then, I can't tell what Stephen Lewis is getting at here with his R&M Consultants and MLP and Associates.
What date was that?
April 20, or no, it was February 22nd.
I mean, because somebody had the page numbers. All right, here we go. Which one was that? That was Lewis. Okay. Project engineer.
So they maybe bid on works. And I can't imagine that as the Glen Oaks Road Board member, he'd have any role in reviewing
Mhm.
that proposal. So I don't know, maybe he doesn't need a letter. But, isn't our decision kind of, do these people need a letter?
Right.
Do we not need a letter, and then, or is there something, some egregious
That-
thing where we
right.
need to call them in to talk to them about it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Do we think we can, I mean, I kind of went through them and I was like, some of them, they just didn't fill anything out, so I can't tell.
Right.
That's the form question, but do
Right.
we want to tag the few that we think need letters or
Sure.
call in, or?
Yeah.
Me, I would
Um,
say, starting at the beginning,
Okay.
I don't know.
So that would be Morse.
Yeah, I think Morse needs a letter. Because it's possible, that I think there's a possibility that any of her architectural projects could come before UBC. I don't know if they do work that is public sector building, so they would come before UBC or not, but just a reminder that if anything does, she needs to review herself. I can't tell what Robert Redlinger is disclosing, so that one seems like a form issue. Same with Stephen Schmidt, David Marion Burke. Alex,
Slivka.
yeah, I can't,
It's hard to say just because he's part of McKinley Capital, whether that has any.
does the investment advisors commission have a role where they might, like, do they have some relationship with, because he's in the same business as the
Mhm.
commission that he's on, but is there some possibility that he would be,
They advise us as how to invest our different funds.
so they are our,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so that would be,
So we should get a letter, right?
yeah. Letter for Slivka.
And so, of course, they're trying to pick people
Right.
in the business.
In the business,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But that's what our letter
But-
goes to, right, is like,
but that's
be
okay, I
cautious
mean-
of these guidelines, because we
Well,
clearly
remember,
don't.
and we send the letter to the chair. I think we agreed to start sending the
Can
chair
I-
to, so at least the chair is on top of.
Yeah.
Oh, if the member doesn't disclose, the chair should
Yeah,
know.
keep
oh,
in mind that we should ask them to disclose, or.
Well, I guess I'm a little concerned to make sure to see, are we gonna wait to send the letter till it's updated?
Hmm.
Right, because it has the old code sections, but I'm a little concerned because I got involved with those investment boards, did the code for them, so, because we're trying to pick people with that expertise.
Right.
And does this letter make them think,
Mhm.
wait a minute, I don't want to get involved with this, because we're trying to get important
Mhm.
special people to be on these boards.
Should we review the letter, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm
as a
thinking,
group?
We can review
Terry's
the
gonna
letter.
update it too.
Because I agree, I don't want to discourage people, as we've discussed,
Yeah.
that we universally want to encourage people with appropriate expertise to serve on commissions, but
Mhm.
we also want to make clear to them that, like, there's some lines about what
Yeah.
they can and can't do, because the fact that they have ties to the industry that their board
Yeah.
considers.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that the letter emphasized, that we were getting some people who would just say, I won't vote on something. And
Right.
it needs to be more than that. That
Right.
if you yourself see that you have a conflict here, then you need to declare it right away and not participate even in deliberations.
Yeah.
Because that's the split. Some people think they can
Yeah.
participate in deliberations, but then not vote.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that's still the
No, I think that's
conflict.
good. So maybe we just need to review our tone, so
Yeah.
it's like friendly
Or,
and
and
supportive, but also.
but also
firm.
like the investment people, a lot of them have
XOXO.
bond counsel and there are all these fiduciary duties and like any allegation that they're doing something wrong, they're gonna go up.
Mhm.
So I'm just sensitive to that
Yeah.
group of
Right.
people because they are under much higher, their own professional
No.
standards.
I don't know that
I
I'm
met
not
Alex
suggesting
bow
that.
out. I know him from
Yeah.
other things, but I agree
Yeah.
with you. We don't want to make him feel.
Well, we're not gonna send the letters out, we're just tagging them
Okay.
for the letter to be sent, once we
Okay.
review it.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, we'll
we-
review the
then,
letter
yeah.
at the next meeting.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
we can
Yeah.
wordsmith it for tone.
Okay.
And then, yeah, send it on.
Okay, so we've got Alex tagged. I think we probably need to tag Tyler just because, again, he doesn't disclose anything, but the whole point there is that he works for the housing, which could come before planning and zoning.
Mhm.
So I'd say we should make sure you have a letter too. Melinda, she might get a special letter.
Well,
We
she's
sent her
been
one
here before.
right?
Well, we made her appear and explain some of this
Yeah.
stuff, and same with Steve Ashman, because all the nonprofits are on the other nonprofits boards.
We sent her a special letter that basically says, thank you again for your time last time and for your continuing disclosure as a reminder, that we talked about or something, or do you think it's not even necessary?
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
We have made her so keenly aware
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
conflicts of interest.
Trans Hansen, any sales to Lurses buy traffic safety equipment?
Could they do it for their own, well, it's work zone safety supply, okay.
But he says they've sold traffic safety equipment to several municipal agencies.
Traffic safety, huh.
guess
I would
daughter.
doubt that they do, because our traffic department is its own little world and very
Maybe he doesn't need a letter.
contained.
The only reason it seems like they might is because he's on the LRSA board.
Well, here he
The
said there's
LRSA
no
only does
conflict
maintenance, right?
or influence.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
he's at
They
least
don't
claiming
usually,
that.
like-
He's saying there's none with the business dealings of the company.
Okay.
Well, why did he file it?
Well, because he's a LRSA.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
So he sells his stuff to municipal agencies. Well, I can't believe he, as an elected official, wouldn't know it's a conflict to buy
Mhm.
his equipment. Do we not? Becky rolls eyes.
I mean, I don't know.
That's right, you weren't even here for the case where we had the
Yeah, you'd think.
person,
But I mean,
person.
again, like, when you.
but was listed literally on one
Well,
of the
let's-
minutes
let's
as
flag
representative
him.
of the contractor and board member.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and flag him, but then see what our letter says.
Okay.
Because if it's generic enough, then.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can do
flag
it.
hands in.
Reminder, go buy for yourself.
What's wrong? Do you don't trust me just to cook up the letter and fire it off on my own?
Mr.
Think I might
Saw-
crack down on people and
Mr. Sawhill should get one.
frighten them away from municipal
Yeah, that's the
service.
same. Sawhill should get one. I don't know what
I don't know what William Ennis needs.
breed.
Again, I think he was the
Yeah, yeah.
person that was the crab last time.
It's totally fine. We just signed it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Didn't
Yeah.
even give us his name. What
Mhm.
board he's on.
Eric Croft? I don't think you should send him something.
Mark.
I wouldn't send it something now, but this does demonstrate how bad these forms are. Because he's trying to give information, and
Right.
it's pretty impossible to figure out what it is.
Right.
I didn't realize he was the Croft of Burkhardt Croft.
I didn't know that
I deal
either.
with Blaze quite
Yeah.
frequently, and I had no idea.
I didn't know that. I didn't know either.
Well, I guess I don't deal with Blaze anymore. Blaze formerly retired, so now I give Joanna.
So I wouldn't say we should do anything more necessarily, but I'm pulling this one out because this is a great example of why these forms don't work.
Yeah.
And again, I think it was our zest to get one-page forms.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's pretty hard. I mean, you look at the APOC disclosure forms, they're like 15 pages long,
Right.
and we didn't want that, but this also isn't helpful. And certainly, he's more than aware. I mean, part of it is, are these disclosures for the public or really to remind them and for us to go over? Because this isn't very helpful because it's so truncated.
I don't understand Mr. Lewis. Just,
Yeah, I don't understand either what he's disclosing.
I don't know what he's saying. Competitive proposals and subcontractor bidding. That makes me think he should get a letter.
Yeah, maybe send him a letter just for good measure.
Terry Parks.
So he's a project engineer for R&M
Terry used to
Consultancy.
be on
Yeah, he, AC,
P&Z.
He's on the ACDE.
yeah,
But
community
he
development.
used to be on P&Z.
I didn't know he was the owner of Express Loop.
Yeah, that's
See,
what I thought.
can I say, I'm not sure about Lewis, because I think he's just saying he's a
Mhm.
project engineer for R&M Consultants, or maybe that's his.
He's also half owner of the Aces
Terry Parks is.
hockey team.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
for long.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how long that's gonna.
This Lewis guy, I think all he's saying is that
Yeah.
they're gonna put in bids, and when they put in bids, they have to, because what board is he on? R&M, he's on, see, I can't even tell what he's on.
Glen Alps
Oh, he's on the Glen
Road
Alps.
Board.
And
Is that-
sometimes they put in competitive bids
Yeah.
on MNLP projects. All right, so depending on the letter.
Terry Parks gets a letter.
Diamond Arcade? Interesting. Huh. Interesting.
What is Chris Chevy
yeah.
declare?
He's on ACDA, he just says he doesn't have anything.
He also said he was city
Yeah.
representative.
Yeah, I just.
Did Parks need a letter?
Parks does need a letter. Yeah.
But again, we're gonna look at the letter first, right, Terry?
Mhm.
Oh, no, I'm just sending it off. Did you know why, Dee?
Because
There's a
here's
new
another
sheriff
one I
in
don't
town.
want. That's right, I forgot about that.
And this stuff of running by being trustee and Lisa before they get fired off, those days are over. Shooting from And we
Oh,
had-
so who's Eva Loken?
She's on the Board of Equalization.
Ah, okay. I don't see any problem there.
Well, actually, what's more interesting I do ethics training for that board, but because she's a self-employed realtor, and the big thing is don't bring her knowledge in of comparables, and you have to
Oh.
decide on the record
Oh.
what the information before you.
Oh, okay.
So they all know that their property harbors that issue. Or,
Okay,
Okay.
so that's already been.
yeah, yeah, because almost everybody on the BOE has
Yeah.
some interest in real estate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
Baby boomers are aging up. Well, it's clear that these two commissions did their homework, that they said they
Yeah.
were gonna do this stuff.
Hey, which reminds me, when we get done talking about this stuff, can we talk about, are we still missing a board member?
Mhm.
We
Yes.
are,
We are,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And,
No one's in the pipeline? Like we
I don't know, but I will put that, because now you're doing the letter that I don't have to look at. the new board
I don't
member.
think Mills needs one.
No. Yeah.
Commercial,
After RFP process, if he's not involved in.
yeah, I mean, that's a one, it sounds like a one-time deal. Planning, zoning, BSI commercial. Have rental business. Building board,
Wait, what is, for him, commercial, real, is it real estate? Oh, he's a broker. Okay, he doesn't come from RFP.
yeah. Rim architects.
Does RIM come in front of, is it possible that they come before UBC?
I mean, ACDA is its own development branch of the city, really, so.
No, I'm looking at Monica.
Yeah, Monica Sullivan. She's one who checked both boxes.
Check both boxes, but didn't.
Near the very end.
By the nature of the fact that she's
Yeah.
Right.
she's on UDC and she's an architect, is
Mhm.
it possible that?
Yeah, at least a letter,
Yeah, I'd say
an
that.
unusual signature.
That is true, that is a very unusual signature.
All my kids signed everything, they had to go get permits and stuff, just their first names, and I'm like, that is not a signature.
They just put their first.
I said, well, you can sign, it's better than a line. I said,
You know, that is interesting. Hmm.
"Oh, they think they can sign anything they want."
That's interesting.
That's a fair idea.
That is very curious.
And warehouse rental business.
Apparently not concerned about fraudulent
Yeah.
signatures.
Fraudulent disclosure. You have that notarized.
Right. It truly am. Yes, that's me. Okay, Mr. Edwards.
I don't see it.
No.
There, so that-
All right.
that-
So that kind
I
of solves
would-
it.
Did
I
she
would
need
do
a
all the
letter?
other ones that I have already-
Monica Sullivan, I think we were going to send Monica Sullivan a letter, weren't we?
Yes.
Urban
Yeah.
Design Commission?
It's reasonably close.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Okay, well, there we handled that.
And
then-
I say, we send her the letter and we sign it with this, and just see what she does.
See what she does. We'll sign it XOXO and see
Because
what.
the lines go the other way.
That's right, see.
All right,
That is really neat.
the rest, D are to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them
That
back.
reminds me of,
Alright.
like if you get a married name, this is my challenge, you know, you can sign your name if I just had a signature like that.
You just have signature like that, right? It's like Prince, you just have a sign.
Right.
Should I indicate it?
So, did we, let's see, we're on to the notice of intent to respond, right? Weren't we?
Yeah.
Just saying, we-
And,
Real estate's-
these are all these foreclosure, the
Oh.
MOA foreclosure sale is coming up.
Oh,
Uh,
this one says no.
Okay, and I signed for that person, I think, yeah. Constance Andres, she's the secretary for the police chief. that
Okay.
they have nothing to do with foreclosures.
Okay.
I was going to say, one of the things this brings up, you'll see it says ethics officers. Years ago, when Terry was still on the board, the person in my position would train someone in all the various sections to be ethics officers. And then I sort of got away from that because, number one, I didn't have that kind of time, but number two is, I think sitting on the board is where you really get a sense of how the board would go. Like, how would one of those ethics officers know how you all feel about police officers? And so I actually thought this board is doing enough work. I'm not sure that's helpful. And that's something that should be changed on these forms. Plus, we have a PMP, an internal PMP, that just restates part of the code. So I'll put that as number 5. We're going to revoke that PMP, rescind, revoke, whatever it is, the PMP. And maybe we'll have a 2-paragraph ethics PMP that says, look at the code, and no longer are there ethics officers. Talk to somebody or other. And that would be more helpful. So anyway, so you'll see in a lot of these, there is no ethics officer signature because I have no idea who that person might be. Most, like any of the bigger departments know to call me, but like APD, but. So I'll try to fix that little loophole too.
Ms. Strickland is in the internal audit department.
Mhm.
Does that have anything to do
Nope.
with this? No. Okay.
The only tough ones would be when they're in the real estate and then they have to do all the firewalling. And
Department Alaska Native Cultural Charter. That's got nothing to do with this, right?
And then this is the guy again from a year ago, the David.
Remind me.
Isn't there the one who missed the deadline last time and
Oh.
came? This is him again.
Right.
And I signed off on it, but I think he's past his publication date again, I think, so. I said, no ethics problems, I
Yeah.
would sign off, but here, a day
Okay.
later.
All right. Is that it? So with those exceptions, as noted, move to approve the consent agenda.
Move.
Second, any objection?
No.
So consent agenda is approved. Then we'll go to 6A, advisory opinion.
That is Dollars for Dogs. and
Is
I-
that what I'm here to sign?
No, it was for.
That's
the
something
lady
else,
just-
okay.
I thought I had already done this, but
Yeah, you sent a letter to them, didn't you?
I thought I had done
This is old
something.
stuff, yeah.
So let me find it. I
Okay.
may not have done the last step. So let me find, I know I
The
wrote
last
it.
step, meaning put it on the website?
Doing, yeah, to the website or having you guys sign off or.
Okay,
Because I'm pretty, we may have even gone over a draft of it, but
because there's nothing in the book here.
no, I know that I had at least done a draft. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
where it went from there.
Okay,
The work is done. I don't know if you guys reviewed it or not, but I should be able to figure that out.
okay. Assembly and Ethics Selections Committee. Do they still want us coming to these meetings? I suppose we should, huh?
I don't know if we need to tell you the truth.
Can we
at this
take a
point,
break,
unless
maybe?
I think unless there's something interesting or
Yeah.
something
Do you
from them.
normally go to these?
No.
No.
Uh,
I suggest that we just skip this
I think
April
so,
one.
yeah, that we don't.
It was particularly important when we were dealing with the rewrite, but right now, I don't know that they need us there, because because I think I went a couple of times, and before the rewrite stuff,
There's no point to it.
I enjoyed being included, but
Unless they wanted
I know.
to talk to us about the presentation on the 12th of May.
yeah,
You know, if they want to discuss that.
that's true.
Is that the training or
Yeah,
is it
that's
Right.
the training.
12th of May.
That's the date,
Right.
tentative date of the training.
for the research? I mean, for the retreat?
Who's going to put that on for them?
That's a good question.
You know, so if they
Um,
wanted to discuss that at that meeting, then
Well, that might be an idea. I can go if you want. It doesn't. I hate to drag you down here.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have any input.
Uh,
We've talked about it. You can
Yeah.
relay our
Okay.
sentiment.
Okay.
And then, I suppose, does one of us have to actually put together a presentation then for the 12th?
I thought, Terry, weren't you going to put together a presentation?
I did. I emailed it to you a couple months ago. Did you What did you do with it? It was the only copy I had. Oh, that's just great. That's great.
I think Steve Strom had
It's been gone so long, I need a new scapegoat. I'll do it, yeah, I'm happy to.
Well-
Again, I might have a schedule conflict for the 12th, but I'm certainly happy to start pulling things together.
Well, are you,
Why?
this is training for the,
Yeah.
For the assembly.
yeah, whether do we want to do a PowerPoint? I don't know. To me, like a 15-page code, we should be able to run through pretty quickly.
Just run through the code and give some examples of our prior decisions is what I had in
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
But I don't mean to skip over it.
Yeah,
We
I
just
just
went
don't-
through this. We
yeah.
just drafted it, so I don't
Yeah.
know how much
Right.
training they really
You
need.
mark my word, you're gonna want
I know,
to do this
I know. Yeah.
for all of the departments.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea, it's like to go through,
Yeah.
the key sections of the code, like we tried to,
Yeah.
for many of the sections, have an underlying principle. We tried to articulate this is the underlying principle.
Mhm.
And then, for, some of the sections of the code have some of our former cases that are now,
Mhm.
public, either because they were
Mhm.
non-confidential advisory opinions or, resolutions of complaints. Just kind of go through, okay, here's some of the cases that have motivated why we look at it this way, or here's where people can go wrong, here's where people have
Okay.
gone wrong in the past. I think it would be helpful that way.
Mhm.
So you're volunteering to do like a
Yeah.
PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That would
I
be
thought that
very
was
good
sounding like
Yeah.
a presentation.
for all
Yeah.
the departments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're up
Well,
to that.
because we had talked about that at one point, doing
Yeah,
an
and you gave me- I
interactive one with
have
the fire
What you
department.
sent me from before,
Yeah,
and so, yeah.
which is I don't think it's all that helpful personally, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, to me, you'd almost start from scratch.
I think so, yeah, I'm going to do code too.
Did we
so.
ever follow through with the fire department?
No, because we were changing the code, so there's
Yeah.
no point. So
Yeah.
if theoretically Terry and I were going to put together an interactive
Okay.
video,
Yeah.
and maybe this is like step number one,
Sure.
Yeah.
that we can then,
Now,
Interactive video.
yeah.
they mentioned that there's a new attorney for the assembly.
Yes,
What,
Dean Gates. He used to be the Department of Law for like 12, 14 years.
Yeah.
And he also did like ethics trainings for the board of one of the land boards.
Oh,
The Elmore guys.
He's taking over for Julia?
Julia.
Mm.
They
Julia
poached him.
Julia leaving, or?
Yeah, she's retiring.
She is.
So they poached our legislative drafting attorney. But anyway, he knows ethics and he does know the
Well,
law.
according to that letter from training, he needs to be trained, so I don't know.
Well, I don't think Trady realized how much ethics work that Dean has done in the past. But I think it's appropriate for the ethics board to do the training anyway. And
Sure.
I mean, Julia was doing it because she had
Yeah.
helped write the ethics board.
Right.
I felt very badly, by the way, at that meeting that I did not thank Julia at the assembly meeting.
Mhm.
Julia, because she participated the whole time, nor Lisa.
Mhm.
But there, once they ask you questions,
They-
and it's not like you can say, "Oh,
No.
excuse me." I
They
mean,
didn't ask us to
with the
say
assembly
generally what
format.
we thought.
Yeah,
Um,
and because remember the one attorney brought up, not attorney, assembly person, Bill Starr brought
Mhm.
up Ken Stout, had
Mhm,
been one of
mhm.
the writers of this.
And I wanted to say, what about Julia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, wait a minute.
Well, that.
Who I
that-
didn't know that Ken Stout was D.D. John Rowe's dad. I thought,
I didn't know
God,
that.
what a small
Yeah.
world.
It's a small state.
Mm.
It's
Tiny
true.
little state.
Yeah, the Ken Stout and Julia basically wrote
Yeah.
that old code.
Yeah.
And so he publicly thanked Ken Stout, who's passed, but Ken Stout.
No,
And
it
it's
would have
like-
been outside the
Yeah.
scope of the question to us to then launch off and do, this is what we thought about all of the
Oh, by the way, we-
the appreciation we want to send and joy to everybody. We could have. I walked away thinking the same thing
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But they didn't invite us up until
At least
after they
it's
had already
good.
talked about it and everything was good to go. And then they said, "Oh, by the way, what do you think about this?" I didn't think we were actually going to get up there at all
Yeah, I didn't
until
either.
Amy asked us that specific question.
Because she wanted to put her thing on the record.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, she wanted us. So I know.
All right, but anyway, so you're going to do a PowerPoint.
Okay.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. And it looks like, we have 1 hour to present, so it needs to be like short to the point, like, right?
Well, they said we could have more if we needed more.
I don't think you need it.
I don't think we need more. I hesitate.
Well, we need it to start with an exploration of the conception of the good,
Of course you do.
and then
Yeah.
from that,
From that,
start pulling.
we launch
You can
into the
have
next
the
6
interpretive dance.
Yeah, I'm a tree.
Thank you, Becky. I think that's an excellent suggestion.
I'll be on that committee.
Okay, so develop a plan. You will do, the plan is that Terry will create some kind of presentation, PowerPoint presentation.
Yes.
Who will present, we'll determine that later. Are we gonna have a meeting between now and then?
We do, yeah. We have a meeting the first week of May.
First week,
This is
so-
the-
So we'll have another meeting. At the next meeting, then we'll,
And is the training here or in Girdwood?
it says the retreat.
Okay. I hope
Where's,
it's
are they
not
having a
Girdwood.
retreat in Girdwood?
I don't know.
That's what
Somehow-
they usually have.
Yeah, I thought they do.
Well, I think Lisa was trying to get the Captain Cook if it all
Oh,
works
cool.
out.
Because that would be much
Yeah.
more convenient.
Everybody do enjoy the Girdwood.
Absolutely, yeah.
Develop a PowerPoint, okay, so again, and it says here Lisa can help if we need to send something to her to.
And is May 12th the date? That's the date of the presentation?
Do you need a special meeting to work exclusively on the presentation? This sounds like training. No, we'll have our regularly scheduled meeting between now and then
Yeah.
to discuss it.
Okay,
I'm sorry, did you say
but when
something?
is the scheduled presentation? Is for the 12th?
12th?
Oh, the 12th,
Well-
okay.
I think it's tentatively the 12th.
Okay.
It says the
Probably
retreat
12th.
in May, date to be determined, but later it says the 12th.
Okay.
Need a special meeting before May 12th.
Yeah, it says no specific date yet, but
Probably
probably
Friday,
February
May
or
12th.
May 12th.
Right,
So we should, but our regular meeting is the week before that?
right.
Right.
Okay, then we'll just have our regular meeting and
Yeah,
talk about.
let's just do the regular meeting
Yeah,
next.
and I'll have the
Yeah.
PowerPoint ready by then, and we can kind of go
Okay.
through it.
We can choreograph our dance.
Think about what dance will
Yeah.
go with that.
Okay,
Excellent.
new forms. Well, we've talked about new
Ready.
forms, and we'll deal with that next meeting, it says here on the agenda.
Okay.
I'll get a total.
And
remember the
The
assembly wanted us to do a form for,
To add,
what was the form that they had requested? That I said, oh yeah, Lisa can do that in a day. Oh, I know, it's the
Oh.
disclosure form for elected officials who incur more than
the
$500.
$500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so elected officials.
So we'll add that to number 7, apparently.
Which would be very helpful, because we have that, under the current code, we had a disclosure thing for elected officials who are going out of state to disclose if they received comp stuff, and it had to go before they left, they had to publish it. And every other time, they would say like 8 words, and I said, no, you have to put 15 more in, okay, you have to disclose, it has to be meaningful. So if we do a form, that will force it to be a meaningful disclosure. Because they're always doing it the last second running out the door.
Okay. Are we doing an annual report?
I thought Lisa was putting it together.
Is she putting something together? It says
Yeah.
here next
Sorry,
meeting, but,
next meeting.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Lisa was putting something together, just like she really
Yeah.
pulled together the
She
last
pulled
time.
together the last one really, really
Looked
well.
great, yeah.
Looked really good.
And the difference is that they want us to present it to the Rules
Right.
Committee so that we
Yeah.
don't get overlooked.
Yeah. They want to make sure we get our due appreciation and attention.
Which was not our suggestion.
No, it was
their
not our suggestion. No. Okay. Member comments. Any member comments? The only comment I would make is that the next meeting we have proposed that I would step down as chair. I'm remaining on the board, step down as chair. Terry is the proposed next chair, and Becky would be the vice chair. So it's up for consideration, and we can vote on it next meeting. How does that sound? Any objection? Hearing none.
These two.
Right, I know. Does that work okay for you, Ted?
Fine for me.
Okay, good.
Ted's happy.
And I
Yeah.
guess my comment would be, I guess we should shake the trees and see if we can't find another member.
Well,
I'm
do
sure
we have one in the
Well, I'll
works?
double check, and why
Oh,
don't
yeah,
I
if you
give
could-
you a
I can
call?
email after,
Yeah, I
Because
thought-
we had told them sort of to put it on hold, or Lisa may have communicated while we were
Right.
doing code writing, because we
Okay.
wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, check on that. I
Okay.
thought maybe there was somebody in the works who was just being
I'm not sure,
put on
they've
hold.
been very effective at getting people on these
Very
boards.
effective, yeah.
That's, I mean, amazingly so.
Because if not, then I'm sure we each have ideas for someone who would be interested.
Okay.
Okay. Any audience? There's no audience here, but
Mhm.
any other participation from the audience? Hearing none? Motion to
Move to
adjourn?
adjourn.
All right.
Wow, look at that.